Republican Party is doing to itself.
Monica, speaking of you, I want to come back to you quickly because we're also interestingly hearing from every living former defense secretary, all speaking out together now, new today, with a very forceful message for anybody trying to challenge the election results, right?
Yeah, 10 of them coming together to say the time for contesting any of these election results is over and that everybody needs to move on, with, of course, the message there being aimed at the president and accusing him of engaging in this activity that is really undemocratic and potentially dangerous, particularly when you hear some of the suggestions that the president himself has entertained, that his allies have made about possibly involving the military in this effort to thwart his own election defeat, Hallie. What's notable here is that the actual person who came up with the idea, we're learning from one of the authors, is former Vice President and Defense Secretary Dick Cheney. Also notable here, two of the authors are, of course, Secretary of Defenses who served under President Trump. So you have this bipartisan group here stressing, and the fact they came together for this joint effort really should not be missed, trying to urge caution in these final weeks of the Trump administration.
Monica, as you were speaking, something happened that has happened a lot on this show over the last 4 years, which is President Trump tweeted about the thing that we're talking about. And Garrett, you're on deck because I think it relates to your beat here. The president's continuing to be upset about the certification of the accurate election results, saying, how can you do that when the numbers are wrong? You're going to see the real numbers tonight during his speech, a reference to that rally that he's holding in Georgia, despite what some sources have told us, Monica, as you know, that there are those in the president's circle who are telling him, hey, focus on rallying the voters tonight and not talking about what you consider the stolen election. But what's interesting, Garrett, is he specifically calls out Senator Tom Cotton, saying Republicans have pluses and minuses, but one thing is for sure, they never forget. This is, shots fired at somebody that there's been a lot of speculation around a 2024 run as it relates to Senator Cotton. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, a major ally of the president. His name has come up repeatedly when there was speculation about open jobs in the Trump administration. Tom Cotton also just reelected down in Arkansas and put out a statement over the weekend saying he will not join these electoral vote counting challenges. So make no mistake, the president is keeping very close track of his perceived friends and enemies here. Just the context here, one of the names that most surprised me on the list of objectors, James Lankford, Republican of Oklahoma, someone who you wouldn't typically see allied with the most fringe elements of the party, is up for re-election in 2022. So you do see the re-election politics of various lawmakers here and how they're potentially making these decisions.
Garrett, Monica, Blaine, thanks to all of you. Matt, let me